today I've got a great chicken tenders recipe for you. When I was growing up, chicken tenders was sort of my go-to thing. Whenever I went to restaurants, I always looked for the chicken tenders on the kids menu, and that's what I always ordered. And so I thought I would do a crispy chicken tenders for kids, but also for adults. These are healthy. Nowadays I don't really order the chicken tenders that much because they're always deep fried, and these are going to be crispy, but they're going to be baked, and they're really simple to do. We just got to go through a little process in order to make sure that they're crispy and healthy. So what I have done is I've got a large ziploc bag here, and I've just cut my boneless, skinless chicken breast into little strips, just like your chicken strips at the restaurant, about like that. I cut them relatively thin, that way they cook up really quickly. And like you can see, I have put these in a big ziploc bag, and this is 1.5 pounds of chicken. This will go for 4 people. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of some all-purpose flour in here. Just go ahead and put those right in the bag, just like that. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and season the chicken, and I'm going to do that with some salt, a teaspoon of salt, and then also, of course, some fresh ground pepper. Love fresh ground pepper in this. Okay, I've got my seasoning in there, and with this recipe it's great because you can add different seasonings. If you want to add garlic powder, onion powder, or just an all-purpose chicken seasoning, you can do that. And you can make these spicy, just as flavorful as you want, but this is the basic recipe that you can kind of do variations on once you're comfortable with it. So let's go ahead and close this bag up, air out, and then we're going to shake it up. Okay, so our chicken is nicely coated with the flour and the seasonings. So this part is done, and now I'm going to work on the next 2 coatings. And the next one that we're going to do is actually an egg coating, and we're going to dredge the chicken through this, and it's going to help it stick to the breadcrumbs. So I'm going to go ahead and crack my egg in here. Whoop, a little eggshell. There we go. And then I'm going to add some Worcestershire sauce. I always love to add this. It just adds a lot of flavor, and so I'll just add, a couple dashes right in. And I'm also going to add some Dijon Mustard. And this is just going to give it a little bit of extra flavor, a little spice. I love the flavor of the Dijon. And so I'm going to do about 2 teaspoons of this as well, right in there. And then we're just going to whisk it up. Alright, that is well mixed. And now our last coating, which is really going to give it that crispiness, I've got about 2/3 of a cup of some Panko breadcrumbs. These are Japanese breadcrumbs, and you can see they're very coarse. They're very dry, and they're very crispy. So it's really going to have that fried effect and the crispy effect without being fried. And you can find that in the regular grocery store, either in the ethnic section, or a lot of times you can find it also where the breadcrumbs are. And just to add a little more flavor, because we're trying to get as much flavor out of these as we can, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese that is just finely grated. I like to use fresh, but you can use any Parmesan cheese that you have. Now I'm going to go ahead and start the dipping process. I've got that flour coated chicken here, and I just got to tell you, it's way easier to do this with your hands than trying to do it with the tongs. You can do it with the tongs, but it's going to take you a lot longer. It's a lot easier to do it this way. Okay, so we've got our chicken that's coated. You can see it's just lightly coated there, and then I'm going to go ahead and put it right into our egg mixture that's got so much great flavor in it, and then into our Panko breadcrumbs and Parmesan. Fantastic. Look at that. You know that's going to be good. Okay, and you can do a couple at a time. You don't just have to do one. And I'm just going to keep going with these until they are all coated. Okay, just finishing up this very last chicken tender. As you can see, they look great. I like to get them really well coated, and I've got my oven preheated to 400 degrees, so I'm going to spray these one last time with cooking spray, of course after I wash my hands, and I'm going to get them in the oven for 15 minutes. So while the chicken's in the oven, I'm going to whip up a little honey mustard dipping sauce. Honey mustard always goes with chicken tenders, and this is a really simple little dip you can make in no time. You don't have to worry about buying it. I'm going to do about 1/4 cup of light mayonnaise right into our little bowl. And then I'm going to also use a tablespoon of mustard. I don't like a really strong mustard flavor, so if you really like mustard, you can add more than that. And then, of course, some honey. I'm going to do about 2 teaspoons of honey. Right in there. Okay. And then some fresh ground pepper, of course. And a pinch of salt. Just get this mixed up, and this will be great to dip our little crispy chicken tenders in. All right, our chicken tenders have come out of the oven. Don't they look fantastic? You can see the little golden bits on there. If you cut your chicken tenders a little bigger than this, you may want to cook them 16 or 17 minutes, but 15 minutes for about this size is perfect. And I've got to taste one. They just look so good. I'm gonna dip it in a little bit of our sauce right here. It's gonna be fantastic. I think kids and adults will love this recipe. Enjoy.